Thank you very much for joining us today. Let's do more works in times to come and see synergies owing to which oceans can be revitalized. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Bhavish, so much. Bhavish and myself, Elsie Gabriel, will be taking you throughout this 1 hour journey. And the concluding culmination session will be announcing the winners of the Pan India Call Out to a Climate Reality Project leaders, engaging hundreds of participants under them, mentoring them over the last month, and then the collection over 1st June to 7th June. And the winners will be announced in the last session where Dr. Chetna, who is been religiously throughout with me in this journey through the logistics. And I wish to acknowledge her presence here today at the concluding session. She will speak to you as well. And ladies and gentlemen, and all our esteemed panelists and our participants, a very warm welcome. I ask you to join me in welcoming Mr. Aditya Pundir, our chief for South Asia and India, who has always been guiding us to action. And over to you, Mr. Aditya. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Elsie. It's always a pleasure to be on a webinar with you, and you conduct them so well. And I would again like to thank your team for bringing in this up, because I think oceans are a very crucial link, which unfortunately somehow people just don't talk about, especially the ones who are not living on the coast. So a happy World Oceans Day to all the participants, all my colleagues who are here, who are part of this panel. Well, my journey with oceans started, well, I was born, brought up in the hills, Himalayas. So it was my dream to see ocean. So I think one of the people to ask was, I used to always tell them that it's one of my wishes in life is to see ocean, because I've read so much about it, seen in films. And yes, when the first time I saw the ocean, I was mesmerized. And for the first few minutes, or I would say an hour also, like you were just trying to take it in, that massive body of water, which is, I would say it's very divine once you are near the ocean, and when you're walking near the ocean, it's so divine, it's so relaxing. And for a person like me who's coming from the hills, never seen an ocean, I found it so like you can say, overcoming over me. What would be happening to people who live near the ocean? It's part of their culture. It's part of their life. It's part of who they are, actually. So oceans are extremely important. And biologically speaking, well, all the life is supposed to have evolved from the oceans, and our body is still 70% water. So the planet is covered 70% by the oceans. So oceans, yes, is a very, very important body. And unfortunately, whatever is big, whether it's atmosphere, whether it's oceans, we humans have understood that we should neglect it, we should abuse it, misuse it, whatever adjective you want to use, you can use it. So we treat all these things as huge sewers where we can just dump everything which comes to us, not realizing that these oceans, as Bhavesh said, are critical. And more the science is understanding, we're coming to know that the oceans not only control our climate, they control the way the earth heats up, they control all the temperature, how the places warm up, places cool. So the temperature, the weather, all our systems, and all these things are controlled by the ocean. And oceans are huge, like they're massive, but so surprising that in 2022 we are talking about them, that the humans are impacting oceans now. Now, they have reached a stage where the humans are having an impact on the oceans. And it's so surprising to say that oceans are now under threat. How? Well, you can say there are three major things which are impacting the oceans. The one, and of course, the foremost thing is, which comes to my mind is, of course, climate change. I come from the climate change background. So oceans are getting heated up. The temperature of oceans are also up by about 0.188, which is very strange for a body of such a huge body of water. And this heating is happening all across the globe on the oceans, and they're getting more acidic. And they're also getting, you can say, they're warming up, they're expanding, they're getting acidic. All this thing is disastrous for the oceans, because what is happening is they're under tremendous pressure. The biodiversity of oceans is again immense, whether you take corals, you take fishes, the kind of fishes and the marine life which you have. Now, everything is under threat. And it's a major threat, because whether it is because of overfishing, that's one. We have been extracting too much out of the oceans, not putting things back. And we are trying to replace all the fish we take out with plastic. So that's what the humans are now desperately trying to do. We want to have plastic fishes out there. So that's one big problem we are facing with the oceans. We are losing the biodiversity on one end. We are having climate changes having the impact on the one end. And the third spoke in the wheel is the pollution itself, which we are getting. We're getting pollution, incredible amount of pollution. The rivers are getting pollution. They're getting bottles. They're getting all type of plastics, runoffs which are coming from the field. They are getting unbelievable amount of plastics into the ocean. Then again, we have so many now ocean liners, on fishing boats. Everybody just discards all their nets inside the ocean. Like whatever you want to throw and get rid of, just put it in the ocean. So that's the attitude we have developed in the last few I would say few decades. And the people who were staying near the coast, as I said right in the beginning, they were culturally connected to the ocean. It was more about ocean. It was life. Somebody would call ocean their mother. Somebody would call ocean their father. Somebody would call it their gods. So everybody had because there was sustenance was involved with the ocean. But now what's happened suddenly is that it's become more of a business. And when you have a business, you are only looking at profits. You are looking at the bottom line. My organization should be in black. So how do you cut cost? How do you do things? That's what's happening in the oceans today. So I think oceans are under threat. And it's definitely because what we are doing, and I'll not get into those statistics that I'm quite sure our panelists will be talking a lot about, that well, by 2050, we'll have more plastics in the ocean than this fish and all. Yeah, these things are absolutely, they're alarming. If you look at it, these are alarming things. So what do we do? So I think there are a number of things which we can do. Let me start with the government. Like, for example, the governments, they have to come out with laws. They have to come out with policies, and there have to be some ground rules, like what you can do and what you can't do, especially for the coastal regions. Like the kind of pollution, if you see, you go to any of the beaches, the kind of plastics you see out there floating and coming and hitting back, because sea always gives it back. Wherever you throw, it'll give it back to you. So that kind of, I think the government has to come out. And so it's so incredible, LC, like people like you who are taking it up now and doing the beach cleaning and going to so many places, generating awareness. So yes, but the government has to come out with policy, because carrot and I personally feel that carrot and stick should be followed. The government should encourage and also should punish in case people are not following the laws. It should not be left to the commons, like let it happen. So I think government has a big role to play out here. Second thing I feel is that the corporate also has to play a big role. I mean, business, not only the companies, the business as such. It could be small, medium, large, because is the business which we are doing, whether the plastics we are manufacturing, whether the products we are making, we are just not collecting them. It's absolutely linear economy. So the businesses will have to start thinking about circular economy, because once they start thinking of circular economy, a lot of these pollutants which we see in the oceans will be collected back, will be recycled, will be reused. So therefore, we will have that much of less of these plastic bottles and all these things going inside the oceans. And like, for example, if the fisherman, if he throws his net, if he's supposed to be recycling it, give it back, then in that case, he will also try to, because it becomes wealth then for him. He has to reuse it, he has to put it in a circular economy. So I think it's very important for the businesses to also start thinking a business as circular model. They have to be careful about their waste, how they're doing it, carrying it forward. Then thirdly, I would like to talk about is at the community level. People who are living near the coast, we have to raise awareness in those people that this has to be stopped. This, when you see people, you tell people not to do it, you yourself don't do it. Then we have to also tell people in the hinterland, people who are living near the rivers, who are disposing of this, that this type of thing should not be disposed of. Ultimately, all rivers take it to the sea. So this education has to be spread into the community. I would say, yes, it is very important for the coastal region. We have to take it as the first thing. And then, of course, to the people living back also, because everybody benefits from the ocean. It's not only the people living at the coastal. And I think the last suggestion would be that, of course, as an individual, like Climate Reality, we have a Green Campus program. So one of the things we are trying to do in this program is trying to sensitize the community, that what is happening, the individuals, what's happening around them, and how should they take care of it. And so climate reality, especially in the schools which are near the coast region, we have started to push material content which talks about oceans. It talks about how to coexist with oceans, though I would say that currently it's very little. We are working on it, and it is definitely in our plans that in next coming 2-3 years we will have much more content around to make a behavioral change in the students and the community around, so that they also start respecting this oceans, and they have a little bit of like, they start not doing things like, for example, plastics, and especially also helping other people do it. Plus, the climate reality is also trying to work in planting a lot of mangroves, whether it is in Sundarbans, whether it's in coastal region of Odisha. We are trying to put in mangroves because that's something, again, for the coastal community to sensitize them and to educate them on it. So that is all I know. You have such a good panel out here, and I'm not an expert on oceans. I'm so thankful to you that you've given me a chance to speak about oceans, and I wish everybody a wonderful session today. And I'm quite sure, because when people start connecting, one should not think that I'm alone. We are so few people. How can we make a difference? The longest journey starts with a single step. So I think we should not feel discouraged. We should go ahead with it, because when people, as Mr. Al Gore famously says, that many times a no will come and finally it will be a yes. So we have to keep our conversations around what we are trying to achieve. And I'm quite sure we will be able to come out in the positive. So thank you so much, Elsie.
Thank you so much, Aditya. And with your guidance and with your inspiration and strength, you'll be proud to know that we have mentored Climate Reality Portugal for 6 months for the Ocean Conference in Lisbon in June end. So we've been mentoring them and gathering more members in Portugal of the Climate Reality. And we also got them registered for the conference as well. And Climate Reality India will also be hopefully well represented. We have committed to 2 solutions, that are microplastics and plastics, as well as ocean literacy. And if we do get granted, we will be speaking at one of the sessions. And we are hosting side events there at the end of June 27. So we have mentored, and we will put it on the hub, and we will represent and give more power to Climate Reality Project there at the Ocean Conference end of June. So thank you so much. And of course, in India, we have all our veterans, like, and the Sundarbans in Orissa. You'll hear them speaking today. Of course, I have worked with the tribals in Lakshadweep. In fact, our last program was World Wetlands Day. And we got the tribal school children to write in their local language as well as English, and win prizes, and it's so surprising that they have traditional knowledge. So we should have an exchange program of, exchange of knowledge, where they exchange their traditional knowledge. They can predict a tsunami. They can know when the waves are going to, sea level is going to rise. So our scientific knowledge, we are bridging the gap between scientific knowledge and traditional knowledge, that's TDK. So that's what we did in Lakshadweep over the last 2-3 years now. And of course, some connections in Andamans also. Post monsoons, we will be taking this up again at site. And we're looking forward to more work. And of course, our main forte is ocean literacy in all the schools. We'd like to include that with the environment education, and of course, seek the government to make it an educational policy also, which will, at a large percentage, will contribute to ocean climate change mitigation, knowledge power for the youth. So that is the steps we're working on. And of course, hopefully we can start mapping the garbage that Climate Reality collects end of this year through our app. And we will be able to submit our, carbon footprints and how much we have contributed, real measurable climate action. So this was a true call out. And this was our first humble presentation of the engagement for the collection, plastic drive collection for ocean. This is our very first year. So next year it will be more strategic and more fine-tuned, but this was our first engagement. So with your blessings, we have come this far. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ilse.
So we'd like to call upon our first speaker is Mr. Jay Singapuri. And it was Nandini Deshmukh ma'am who referred me to him, guided me, and told me about his work. And Jay is the founder of Jay Foundation, and he's working in Mumbai. And I will leave it to him to introduce all the work that he's doing. So, a warm invitation to our very first speaker, Mr. Jay, please.
Namaskar. My
Namaskar.
name is Jay Shringarpure, and I am the environmental president of the MNS party. I also am the president of Jay Foundation, a foundation which works on environmental issues. And since the last 5.5 years, I have been working for the cleanliness of the beaches in Mumbai and in Maharashtra. I will let me start with a small story. Which happened on in the end of March 2017. Me and my daughter had gone to Dadar beach. We stay very close to Dadar beach, and we had been over there. And she wanted to play in the sea, but the scenario over there was so bad that the whole beach was filled with plastic. In fact, we were standing on the plastic. It was so bad over there. And I at that time I realized that I with my friends used to go over to the other beach, and we used to play over there with no plastic around over there. But my daughter can't play over there. My daughter just can't go to the beach and enjoy the beach, can't go in the waters and play in the waters. That struck me very badly. And next day itself, me and my daughter, we went to the other beach, and there were about 4 or 5 BMC workers. BMC is a corporation in Mumbai, so municipal corporation in Mumbai. So there were about 4 or 5 BMC workers working over there on the other beach, and we just started collecting plastic from the other beach. And you would be surprised that we collected, those 4 or 5 BMC workers and me and my daughter collected more than 1 ton of plastic waste on that day. And that was the start. 1st April 2017, we started it. And today at this time, we are spread on 40 beaches of Maharashtra. We have teams on 40 beaches. It is not just Dadar beach. We are spread on 40 beaches of Maharashtra, right from Girgaon, which is in Mumbai, Girgaon to Dahanu, which is in Palghar, and from Uran to Shiroda, which is in the Konkan side of Maharashtra. So this is how it is. And, all this time, it was me and my daughter who started, but it was a difficult journey. It just took a lot of time, for me to get through people for help, because at that time I didn't want money. I just wanted hands. I just wanted volunteers. I used to go regularly to the beach. I used to clean, and my friends started telling me that, why don't you put your pictures on social media? Nowadays, the social media is so strong that you might get help. And it helped. I started posting pictures on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and I started getting help from schools, from colleges, from corporate companies, from different foundations, from different environmental, groups. And the team became so big that, till date, there are about 40,000 people who have joined our movement. The other beach cleanup movement. More than 20,000 people have come on the other beach, and more than 40,000 people have joined us on the whole of Maharashtra for the beach cleanups. On 11 December last year, we did a massive beach cleanup wherein 19,700 people on one day, one time, we all came, and we did a massive beach cleanup, which is going for the records this year for the Limca. And more than how many tons of plastic have we cleared? All together, we have cleared more than 11 tons of plastic waste from 11,000 tons of plastic waste from the beaches of Maharashtra. So this is where we are. Mr. Aditya was talking about, the sea will always throw, and he is absolutely right. I believe that the sea throws the plastic because, like humans, we have life. The sea, I believe the sea has life. Whatever we can't digest, we just throw it out. That is how the sea is. The sea cannot digest plastic. So that is how it just throws the plastic out. Mr. Dhar was talking about policies. Mr. Dhar was talking about corporate companies coming into pictures. Yes, we need policies. The government should come out with policies. Plastic banning is not the answer. Plastic recycling is the answer. Mr. Aditya was talking about circular economy. He is absolutely right. We should come out with circular economy. The government should come out with circular economy. Mr. Aditya was talking about the rivers. The rivers are the main pollutants. What's happening in Maharashtra and what's happening in India is we have a lot of chemical companies which are very close to the rivers. Okay, and these chemical companies, they just put in the waste chemicals into the rivers, and from the rivers it comes to the sea, and the sea is getting affected because of the rivers, and the rivers are getting affected because of the chemical companies which are close to the rivers. All these things are happening with the sea. A lot of problems are happening with the sea. It is just not the cleanliness. There are a lot of factors. So in these years, I realized, in these 5.5 years, I realized it is just not cleanliness that I want to get into. There are 5 aspects which we will be working on in these coming years. It will be cleanliness, which we are already into. It will be safety of the beach. A lot of times our beaches are not safe. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the night, we can't take our children to the beaches because it is absolutely unsafe. From prostitution to gambling to smuggling to druggies sitting on the beach, we have everything happening on the beaches. So it is not unsafe. So we'll be working on the safety of the beach. We are also working on the awareness part of it. So we'll be working with Mrs. Nandini Deshmukh for the awareness part of it, because we have teams on 40 beaches, and there are a lot of schools, colleges, and small villages which are close to the sea. Okay, so we will be working on the awareness part of it. We will also be working on the employment part, because a lot of people who stay on the coastline, there are a lot of things which we can do on the coastline, like the lifeguards. We don't have lifeguards on the beaches. Okay, so there are a lot of opportunities for employment on the beaches. Okay, so this is what we'll be working in these next 10 to 12 years. And our party, the MNS party, is working a lot for the environment. Okay, Mr. Aditya was also talking about corporate companies coming into picture. We are working with a lot of corporates, but in India, I think when we talk about CSR, the CSR is divided. The corporate social responsibility is divided into a lot of things. Some companies are working for education. Some companies are working for the medical problems. But I think the government should come up with a policy wherein every company should work on environment. Every company, there has to be a norm that all the companies, all the CSR companies should work on the environment. That is how it will make a change. We are here because we want to make a change, right? So as Mr. Aditya said, he had a lot of things which I believe that he was right when he said that I don't know a lot of things about the sea, but I thought he knows everything about what I know, right? So there are these things which he said, that policies and corporate CSR and circular economy, all these things should get implemented, and we all like-minded people should come to a podium, and we should get these things happen. So this is all what I have to say. And I think Miss Gabriel told us that from 1st to 7th, whatever trash you collect from the sea and which you recycle, just tell us about it. So we had about, in this week, we had about 140, more than 140 people working on 5 beaches, which was the Dadar beach, Prabhadevi beach, Bandra beach, then it was Juhu beach and Warsaw beach, and we managed to remove and recycle more than 3.5 tons of plastic waste from these beaches in the last week. So that is where I
That
am.
is fantastic work, Jay. मतलब बहुत मतलब इतना उन्नति और इतना inspiration आपसे मिल रही है आज. So I hope to work together, support your work on the ground, so that we can also join you in your plastic collection and ocean literacy also schools में. So एक साथ हम जुड़ के जरूर काम करेंगे. And it is an honor to have you today to celebrate World Oceans Day and a true inspiration. So thank you, Nandini ma'am, so much. And we will coordinate and work together on the 4 pillars that you have outlined. Meanwhile, I request our second expert speaker, Seema Bali ma'am. She is the Climate Reality Project leader, as well as the Vice President of St. Mary's School in New Delhi. So I invite you, ma'am, to please come forward and give us your presentation on World Oceans Day.
Thank you, Elsie, and good evening, everyone. It's really, I think I have to change my introduction. I have to tweak my introductory message because already Aditya and Mr. Jay has spoken so much about ocean, and Bhavesh has also added some very empowering views about the Ocean Day. So I'm just going to focus more on when Elsie called me, that there is a webinar on Ocean Day. I quickly jumped up to this, a request and invite because I had never been a part of it, honestly. Though being a climate leader, and in Delhi, I had never been a part of Ocean Day celebration or webinar, and I really had to research. So thank you so much, Susan ma'am, for introducing me to Elsie, and thank you, Aditya and Bhavesh, for always being, a guiding light. And of course, Rekha, I cannot forget because we do our Green Campus program together. And now I'm getting a lot of ideas after listening to all the speakers that, we can do so much in the Green Campus program where we'll need Elsie's help and also Jay's help to, tweak our PPTs and make it more empowering for the students. So I will not be mentioning more of what we can do or what oceans are to us, because already the speakers have spoken a lot about it, and it will be a repetition if I start doing that. But I would like to share something very important, that is how we can catch the students in their formative years and inculcate a feeling of how we can save the environment, whether it is ocean or whether it is land, air, water, whatever. So what happens is that in our schools, the success of any lesson or the classroom teaching learning interaction depends upon how we integrate all the subjects, whether it is maths or science or social science. So moment ocean comes or environment comes, in a few decades back, people used to think it is a concept only for a science teacher or a geography teacher, but it is not so. When we did our Green Campus program with Rekha, we understood that we had included all the subjects. We had integrated the Green Campus program in our curriculum. So it was the data that was collected was given to a maths teacher. So she was doing sums on that and making some, statistic problems, solving with the data that we had collected from the school. Physics teacher was busy doing all the calculations around energy. Bio and geography teacher were, collecting all data about biodiversity. And today, when I'm in this webinar, please do not call me an expert, because I am also learning so much here that I feel I'm a learner. And I feel that any teacher, any subject, we have to integrate this. Ocean or Ocean Day also should be observed, and we should include this and highlight it even in our SDGs. Our lessons should be structured in such a way that we should include all of this. So my main focus on today's speaking will be about how we collected, started or initiated the collection drive, though we had just 3 days left from our summer vacation. And for the children, it's a challenge to bring to school all that they collect. So whatever little they could manage, we did it in 3 days. And what I would urge the teaching fraternity to replicate it in their schools, and catch the students in their formative years now, will be my main, highlight for my presentation, which I'll share shortly. And also it is imperative because India is the second largest peninsula and has a long coastline. And so many of Indians, living on the coastline are dependent on oceans for their livelihood. So looking at that, what we can do who do not live near the oceans, but we do visit these places as tourists. So also it becomes our responsibility many folds to pitch in and contribute in whichever way we can. So if you can allow me to share my presentation, I would can you see my screen?
Not yet, ma'am. Not yet.
Now? Is
yes,
it
ma'am.
okay? So it's beautiful to see how World Environment Day, June 5th, and World Ocean Day, they're so close by and they add so much meaning to our life. And this was the reason that we observed both the days together on Monday itself. And we had, because the children had just come back from the pandemic and there was not much that we had planned, but with Elsie's one call, it triggered the neurons in my brains, and quickly we started that now we have to do something for the environment, which will culminate on the World Ocean Day. So it was very empowering. And I will not speak more about Ocean Day, but I will like to emphasize on the fact that, what educational institutions and educationists can do, or even we all as parents or as resource persons, if we visit the school, we can share this idea that whenever we design any project, and if it is an action-oriented project, it should be connected with the SDGs. That's how, because the mention of SDGs or the lessons around SDGs are not there in our books. So we have to integrate so that our children understand the 17 goals, and they can connect the various goals together. And it's not only the students who need to be empowered or they need to be taught, but also all the stakeholders, including the parents and even the support staff. So no one should be left behind. We have to bring everyone on the same platform, and that's only then it will make a difference. And sharing success stories like Jay has shared his success story today, it really is giving me ideas that what more we can do. What we have done till now is just minuscule. It's just like a literally drop in the ocean. And it's important that we are lifelong learners and we are ready to accept what we have done and what we can do and learn from others. And whenever we take up any project, it has to be tangible, it has to be measurable. Only then we can see that how much more we can add, what all we can cut short, or how we can make it more meaningful for all stakeholders. All these years when we used to say that we have to take children for a nature walk, I saw that children used to be really excited to go out for a nature walk. And if you ask them what happens in a nature walk, they'll say, oh, it's free time. You can go out with the teacher. You can make as much noise as possible. But, if you tell the students that, okay, all 40 of you or 35 of you who are there, you go to each different corner and come back after 10 minutes and tell me what you have seen or what you have noticed, you will be surprised that each one will have its own perspective, and each one will come up with a very novel idea, or you will see that, oh, really, he thinks like that or she thinks like that, we have never thought about it. And again, nature walk should not be only for the bio class or a science class or a geography class, even a maths class. When you're talking about Fibonacci sequence, take a plant, talk about it. It becomes so much you can engage your students in learning that they will not even come to know, and you would have finished one chapter or maybe 2-3 topics in those 40 minutes. Each school, like in our school, we have a cleanup time also. After the freeze bell, which is after the break usually, there's a freeze bell. It is a period. It is a around 2 minutes break. After the break, it is a 2-minute bell where everyone freezes so that everyone calms down. And one particular class is given a duty to pick up all the trash in case it is there. Maybe some wrappers, chips packet, ice cream wrappers, or toffee wrappers, or chocolate wrappers, and they do this duty and collect all the trash without wasting any time. And these students also should be connected to local initiatives. Only then they will understand, or they will imbibe, or they will get the feeling of ownership. Like maybe schools in Mumbai, or schools in Dadar or Borivali, or whichever place Jay is. If these schools connect with him and take these children there, they also get empowered. So it is very important that we connect our children to local initiatives. And whenever the teachers are making any lesson plans, we have to make it nature centered, or maybe SDG centered. I would change the word nature here and make it SDG centered. That also will talk about environment, about climate action, about oceans, land, air, energy, everything. um, Also, when we talk about recycling, we must give them option, we must give them substitutes. If we talk about plastic bags or old dupattas or saris to make braids, for making jumping ropes, instead of buying from the market for PT periods, children can make it themselves. They can collect, they can make the ropes, they can use it during the PT period. So we save a lot of money. And maybe during the art and craft, they can use it for weaving tools or macrame work. And also, this is one way how students will learn to appreciate nature. Maybe it is their own perspective, maybe it does not resonate with the teacher's perspective, or does not resonate with the objective with which the teacher is taking the class out for learning. Doesn't matter. And teacher must share her experience with the teachers when she goes out for a nature walk, or in her own class with other subject teachers also, so the same thing can be integrated in other subjects. That's how a child will learn more. And now more of the book knowledge that is present there in the print books, it's better to expose them to all these kind of strategies, so that they understand that this is an ongoing process. It is a dynamic process, and we don't have to stop here. So when we started, I will share how we started our collection drive. So when Elsie called me, I discussed with my principal, and principal was very excited. She said, yeah, we must do it. So the first thing she did was she wrote a message to the parents. First of all, inform the parents that we are doing this, so that parents also join in with their students and send the plastic bottles or wrappers or whatever to school. And it was so surprising. I wish I had more time to share the videos or messages from the parents, that they were taking videos how children were busy collecting all the trash, because we have said that whichever class collects maximum, that class photo will come in the newsletter, or we'll put it on the website. So principal, the parents were sharing the small video, that ma'am, see what our children are doing at home. They are collecting everything, going to the neighbors and collecting. And even when they were in the market also, they were busy picking up, plastic. So that is the kind of josh we want in our students, in our, younger generation, in the youth. That is, what we want them to do it. And then we have already a code green committee is there, of the students from the seniors classes. They were allotted the classes, and they used to go to each and every class, and they used to collect. They used to go and say, oh, you have collected this, very good, we must do it, and tomorrow you get some more. Okay, we are leading. And like Elsie was telling us that you are leading, and who is first, who is second. So that josh seep down to that level also. It's very important. It's not about coming first or second. It's about involvement, it's about participation, it's about doing something. And I told them that we are not going to stop here. Even though the collection drive stopped, it gets over on 7th, we will continue. Even when you come back after the holidays, we will see how much you have collected. Let that become a part of your holiday homework. Make something out of that, like a art teacher, made some holiday homework around it, how to use it. So that's how we involve the students and made it an ongoing, program. So Elsie will be very proud that it's still going on. It will continue.
Thank you so much, Seema.
Yeah.
That was excellent response from you and your school. Fabulous, outline there by Seema ma'am. And may you continue this work in your school. And we do have ocean literacy modules, just like environment education. We'll share that with you. And of course, we'll include that, because we're trying to make it, an important agenda of the education curriculum, so that, we can formulate that. But we are running short of time today. We have 4 more speakers.
So I'll just end here. And, I'll just...
all the winners will be announced as a surprise last.
Yeah,
and of course, your
true.
collection was massive, absolutely massive. And we owe it to your mentor. I must thank Mrs. Susan Thomas.
Yes.
She was the one who outlined me 4 to 5 climate reality leaders, all India, to really take it on. So it is, if you're not on the ground, you either delegate to inspire or mentor and ignite people. That's so much more also important part to play in climate mitigation. So thank you so much, Susan Thomas, for giving us an excellent expert in Seema Bali ma'am. And you're already working with Climate Reality Project. And if there's anything Young Environmentalist Program can do, trip to the ocean maybe, come diving with us. When I do dive 40 to 50 meters below the ocean, between sharks and stingrays and turtles, I want the students to feel that. When all your senses are involved with the ocean, smell the fish, meet the indigenous people, talk to the fishermen, then their senses are involved and they innate talent comes out either to join marine biology, oceanography, a documentation of our environment and oceans, and writing about in ocean laws also. English comes in there, and so many subjects. So our students like environment and sustainable and education, they can go for oceanography and other subjects involved. So we talk to them about career as well. So we're really privileged to have your outline here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elsie, and thank you, Susan ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, and you'll have to wait for the surprise. That's why I was not letting you elaborate.
No.
Because you are leading, and we have Dr. Chetna, who will outline at the end all you panelists as well as the other participants, how much you've collected and the real Josh, like you said. Thank you so much, Seema ma'am.
Thank you, Elsie. Thank you.
Without further ado, I'd like to call upon Professor Prafulla Dhal. He needs no introduction. And if he's not with us, Ria, I ask you to please make him a call and invite him.
No, I'm here.
Excellent. Good evening, Doctor. Fabulous. All the way. Warm welcome from Orissa. He is the Conveyor National Coordinator for Climate Reality and Sparsh Foundation State Head. And of course, so much that he's doing. You must have seen his tree plantations already. It is going viral, the amount of banana trees and fruit trees that he is working with indigenous people. And he is a source to reckon with, a real powerhouse of knowledge. So warm welcome, Prafulla. We have so much to learn from you. Over to you.
Thank you, LCG, for kind words. I feel privileged to be in the discussion here on ocean matter. Because I'll be a bit critical as well as some of my things I will share. I'll share some of the things out of my experience. Since 2010, I have been involved in this, plastic collections in the rivers, twice in Puri Beach, and of course, 11 river beds I have cleaned with some of volunteers and see that. And out of that, I have some experience I would share, so probably that can help us in designing future course of actions, our climate reality and different places. That is one. The second one is what I'm going to tell you. As you all know, statistics apart, India generates 5.3 million tons of plastic waste annually. We know very well. And globally, 14 million tons of plastic enters in sea through 1,000 rivers, mostly, 80% of this plastic goes to 14 million tons of plastic goes to river to these 1,000 rivers. And India has, of course, many rivers to contribute that. And cleaning certainly is very important. As Joyce said, that's fantastic and fabulous work it's doing. But we should think for the alternative to plastics. That is very important because I see per capita plastic consumption in India is rapid and going to be doubled by 2045. It's the statistics this year, very recently it has come up. Similarly, if you see that the global scenario that by 2050, we might add of 3 times more than the plastic waste what we are doing today. So these are the contradictions we have to see. And in that perspective, we have to search for the alternatives. And I have done a little bit on this angle as a climate reality. I really am thankful to Bhavesh and Aditya and all of you inspiring me to do something here and in the coastal, Orissa coast. And of course, you know that Orissa coast is in a very critical scenario because of very many reasons. And I keep studying with my volunteers and with my team a little bit and put my efforts in that way. One thing I could say that global scenario and Indian scenario, Odisha also the plastic consumption increase. I work two extreme situations. One is Raigada, where it's tribal, mining area and other things. And one is Puri and in entire coast. And Odisha is experiencing the sea level rise at the rate of 3.3 to 4 millimeter per year. It was 480 kilometer coast. Now it has become 560 kilometers long. So just imagine kind of things happening now. And some of the districts are facing the survival crisis because ocean gets polluted and heating. Frequent disasters, as you know, very recently it's been predicted that every day 1.5 disasters every year we are going to face that. Odisha is now every year 2 disasters. So in that context, if you can see, I think alternative is very, very important. Green Campus program, 9,000 students under my, under our program has been connected by now. 12 schools in coastal area, more than 30 schools now under the process of coming to Green Campus. But in 12 schools where we have experimented here, students are doing fantastic jobs. We have not only given the content, and people those who have not seen ocean or not seen the rivers, they're only in a different zone altogether. We start giving them teachers orientation with the content and also the supports like paper recycling machines, the competition kind of thing they do, the solar panels, the tree plantations within the campus and outside the campus, or rainwater harvesting, giving them a total environmental sense. And here, as Madam was saying, it's a fantastic you are saying, because event observation just goes like event observation, because always awareness has the next step called sensitization. And sensitization leading to action is very important, because what we are expecting from our students and young people, they should act, they should start doing the actions, and in particularly giving the solutions to the climate crisis and even including oceans. That is where probably we're lacking, because all our efforts, see, for example, the Prakriti Mitra, I have 5-6 of my associates received Prakriti Mitra on this Environment Day. But when you go for action, solution-specific actions, there they fail in understanding the problems. I think content, what Aditya was talking about, what LC is talking about, what everybody talking about, we have to make a radical content which is climate sensitive and not just like environment as it is happening. Because that's not that much of radical. People keep on saying, oh, environment studies or these kind of things there. Because I have also 2 universities where I'm the board of director and I'm also the adjunct professor there. In one of the university, I have started School of Transformation and Sustainable Development. I'm interacting with thousands of students. I've seen them, completely blank in terms of the action so far as climate change is concerned. If you can talk about the environment, they talk about very loose things. How to bring them up, that is very important. Very rightly, Joy was talking about corporate. I work in corporates. I work in the CSR domain. I just like to break a news that in India, we have got 8.6 lakh companies registered under Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Out of them, 15,000 companies report profits. And of them, 500 companies or 600 companies, if you can count their CSR money, CSR 2 old tax are there. I have done critical research on this. One is pre-profit CSR. Other one is post-profit CSR. Pre-profit CSR is basically environmental things. You need clearance of many things, that R&R, PR, CSR, which are environmental sensitive, corporate environmental responsibility, which is 10, 20 times more money committed by the companies for the community and for the environment, which has never been a reality. That is what we should think seriously. The second one is 2% of average of 3 precedings of net profit, which is the CSR money people talk about. That size also goes above more than 80,000 to 1 lakh crore. If you compare just 15,000 profit-making companies. But if you see the report of the spending, it is just limited to 22,000 crore maximum till last year. So where this money goes, I think very rightly has pointed out that that should be a complete commitment on the company side. And I can tell you proudly that at JK Paper, we have been quite successful in localizing SDGs in our programs. We are a carbon positive company today. It's 4 years of my effort has really made entire our money goes to the sustainable development, be it solar, water, micro pumps, be it converting the land into natural farming, or be it youth for with the digital learning centers for the youth for SDG, and all these things has happened. So what I'm going to submit here, we need action, and action need leaders. To create leaders, we need to clarify them, mentor them, give them handholdings and context-specific solutions. We cannot have universal, knowledge where you can generate things. Say, for example, my context, Odisha is completely different. For example, we can save our oceans or our coast through a massive plantation-based livelihoods. In mangrove, we have been working with Vitarkanika. My SHGs, my farmers clubs are working. In Puri, 2 years before, when Foni came, there was no thought of tree plantations, as rightly mentioned about LCG. See, within 2 years, we have now planted 8.3 lakh trees. We aim to plant minimum by 2030 1 crore trees, 10 million trees, and it's possible because farmers have been institutionalized. 15 farmers producer companies have come forward and committed at least every farmer. And now we have about 7,000 farmers. We are just planning to have minimum 1 lakh farmer. Every farmer should plant 100 trees in their life in this period of time. Just imagine kind of trees we can really bring the in the Odisha coast in terms of mangrove, in terms of casuarina, which is coast specific. It's not only the fruit plantations we are doing, but we have a very good plan in doing that. So I think in this Ocean Day, we should think plastic pollution should be removed from the supply side, and we should create the alternatives. I have invited Bagmaster from Tamil Nadu to create the paper bag unit and clusters. Massive paper bags we are going to do that. We have taken bamboo and other items to produce the alternatives in the packaging things, including the logistics. As you know that the maritime transportation, maritime things are going massively using the plastics, and we are going to replace through the bamboo. It has happened. It is coming up. Now I have taken a new program basically to make the Odisha coast out of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, which affects the marine life hugely and entire biodiversity. If you see Vitarkanika and Chilka and other side, Sundarban, all are in equidistance, are hugely affected by the farming, ecosystem. We are using maximum things. So I think we have been advocating the things, and we are also getting the massive participation, but at the same time, government did policy change. Thankfully, I am really very happy to mention about Odisha government has changed some of the policies because of our climate related policy, climate related demand and work. And we are also going to train all legislators, 147 legislators because it was because of pandemic it was stopped. So I'm going to open it up maybe August or September. So I think in my submission, I can tell you that be it ocean, be it forest, or be it land, or be it whatever the environmental climate issues are there, we need leaders. And I'm really grateful to climate related projects and being a leader. I have shown my effort in making the things, and with me there are thousands of volunteers, thousands of other people are involved in this, and I'm trying to produce alternative to the plastic to save ocean from plastic pollution. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dada. Absolutely fabulous. This is what the United Nations Ocean Conference is really looking for. Mission to commitment to scientific outline and explanation. And the second pillar is to solutions. You have really outlined these two, which is, your commitment to the solution through scientific data and outline. These are the two key takeaways from your presentation today that all of us here as climate reality leaders and participants and students can learn, And like I've always said, I pre-invited myself, and I've always told Dada that we must have the ocean conference, in fact, in Orissa. I've always, as a child, in fact, I was 2 years old. I think inspiration seeds were sown there at the Chilka Lake. And closest to West Bengal was, Puri Beach and Gopalpur Beach. These are the coastal areas. As a kid, as a child, I've been visiting with my parents who were professors also, and they would explain to us the entire ecology. So our next ocean conference should take place in Orissa with the entire, under your guidance. That will be lovely post the COVID and the monsoons. It will be lovely to outline and see the work with the indigenous people, also your plantations. So you're a real force to reckon with. Thank you so much for your time and your scientific outline to solutions. Thank you so much to alternatives. And of course, your collection will be outlined at the end by Dr. Chetna. Thank you so much, sir. And we call upon Satya Natya Rajan. Satya. Yep. He's the National Coordinator for Urban Space Pune, All India from Pune. Satya, are you there?
Yes, I am. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, but we can't see you.
No.
You can put you're giving a presentation. That's fabulous. So would you like to go ahead, Satya, over to you. You've done immense work and garnered a lot of participation, and kudos to you. Go ahead, take it away.
Yep. Are you able to hear me, and are you able to see my slides as well?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll make it quick. Let me just see if I'm able to project. Are you able to see the full screen?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Elsie, for this opportunity. Though I'm far away from ocean, but I come from a place where it has the longest coastline, Chennai, in the deep part of Tamil Nadu. So I have an experience, though I'm physically disconnected from there right now. However, I'm going to stress upon what we did over the period of years and how collective responsibility as an individual and part of together as a team can revitalize ocean. So if you see what all the immense benefit of ocean is, right, what we breathe, to the weather that we see, the climatic changes that happen, the water cycle that comes, the food that is provided, and so on. Right from 50% of the oxygen comes from, the phytoplanktons versus the trees on ground. So there is an immense amount of things that happens because of ocean, right? Though we might be living near a river or away from a river, ocean does contribute us. Now, we hear a lot of pollution in terms of plastic pollution, river pollution, ocean pollution, floating, and so on. Is it a worldwide phenomena? Yes. Is it an Indian phenomena? Yes. Is it in the major cities? Yes. Is it in the rural areas? Yes. If you browse through the top 9, things around the various places, you have plastic and floating pollution everywhere. Now I'm going to talk about specific from my experience of dealing with a city like Pune. There are many cities that are growing up, which are cities, but if you see the infrastructure around the river, it's kind of very much polluted and not enough is done, and we have scope for doing more. And as you naturally know, rivers get into the river streams, the river bodies, to sea, to ocean, and so on. So we are all connected. And if you see particularly the plastic pollution, there are two things that I want to bring upon. One is the consumption, what we do, and how do we manage the result of the consumption. Though these are two different timelines that are shown, we are far, far better than the developed nations that we consume almost 1/10 of the plastic than the developed nation. That doesn't mean that we can sit and relax in our chairs, because even with the 1/10 of consumption, we are polluting the rivers and the ocean 100 times more. We rank about third or fourth in the kind of mismanaged waste into the rivers and into the ocean. So let's not lower down our guard because we consume less. Our consumption is going to increase with more packaging and more facilities coming and lifestyle getting improved. We need to manage our plastic pollution or the other sorts of pollution. Here I have given reference to only the plastic pollution, but similar is the other toxic pollution that enter the rivers and further down to the oceans. So we consume less, but we don't even manage that. So that's the truth, what we are today. And it's almost common to all the cities that we are living in. Once upon a time, Ganges used to be the purifier of all sins. That's what the notion was. Whenever somebody enters the Ganga, he gets purified. But today, Ganga is so polluted that you invite sin or you become unhealthy by just dipping into the river. Of course, there are various programs to revive it and things like that. Why I'm specifically talking about not a river or an ocean somewhere far off? Because we could relate to what we are doing here, and that needs to be the starting point. Charity begins at home, education begins at home, and action begins at home. Why Ganges is that 85% of the world's plastic materials that enter the ocean comes from 10 main streams, out of which Ganges is one. So that's why I'm kind of relating to it. And there are 3 billion microplastics entering the Bay of Bengal every day. And why specifically Bay of Bengal? This is one of the this is the Arabian shore. I will come to the Bay of Bengal, which is the east coast of India. The west coast is like, this is Mumbai, which was affected by a cyclone, and whatever we threw came back in loads of plastic pollution. Almost they measured about 56 elephant weight of plastic that they had to remove with one shot that came on due to the cyclone. So what goes around comes around. Better be sure about the gift you send of what you get back. Now, coming back to this is a typical scenario of a Mula Mutta river, which is one of the streams in Pune. And if I were to spot one single-use plastic, out of the one that is on the left-hand side, I might spot only one single-use plastic. Why this is very important is that the water hyacinth is a menace, but it covers up the other pollution which are there, which means in a typical day, if you have to clear off about 100 kgs of plastics from a river like this, I have to probably do 10 tons of hyacinth removal. That's the catch. So it is not just explicit plastic pollution that is floating. I can go pick with my hands or with an equipment. It has to be sorted out. So that's the gravity of the plastic pollution over there. Just to give you a landscape of this, might be equally applicable to every cities to their rivers, but Mula Mutta, Bhavna, Dev Nadi, Ram Nadi are 5 major rivers, and this Mula Mutta river goes back, ecological age is almost older than Ganges, 2 lakh years. Think about the heritage of this particular river, and then it goes into the Bhima and then joins Krishna and then finally into the Bay of Bengal. So now you see the connect. Out of the world's 85% plastic pollution, 10 river streams or seas or enters through that, and Bay of Bengal is one, and Bay of Bengal is fed by the Krishna river and the Bhima river and then goes to Mula Mutta. So you see the connection, right? And if on a sample day, if you take dissolved oxygen, which is very highly useful for the marine life or the river life, it's more than 5 parts per million. That should be the average, but now it is close to 0 in spots, which means aquatic life is almost dead. If you see particularly this river alone, today we see only hardly 8 fish species. At one point in time, when Britishers ruled there, it was like 120 fish species, which means people had enough food, people had enough things to take from the river. Today, because of the river pollution, not just the plastic pollution. Now, my love started for cleaning up plastic dates back to my Mastani. This is the Mastani Talau, which is a pond. It's not a river. I and my kid used to spend my time there, and we cleaned up on an environment day. I called for 12 volunteers. None of them turned out because it's an office day. I cleared up a 20-acre lake and collected 100 kgs. So which gives a small high in me to do furthermore. And Pune is best known for its Ganesh Utsav or celebrations. So a lot comes from to have the POP idols, which are religious in nature, but it does contribute to the pollution if not handled properly. And to get a clean river, we have been engaging with the students of the schools and the colleges nearby Alandi, where we kind of collect these POP idols and recycle them. From the government side, there have been a lot of projects for the effluent purification. Of course, this has its own do's and don'ts, and but people on the ghats, which are the river banks, used to segregate during celebrations. So we are talking about what is a heritage, what is a celebration, what is a ritual. And at the end of the day, it is not just human beings which are affected by this. And there is a great birding spot that we regularly clean every year when the discharge happens from the dams, and all the Pune's plastic and floating bodies come over here, and it takes about 12 weekends to clean up just with 300 volunteers. So this is the gamut of the work that is there every year, and still this is just to remove only the visual pollution, not the pollution which is inside the river. And when I'm talking about slightly moving from what we have done to the river to what we are picking up from the river is, I was a part of almost like 7 climate change related floods in Maharashtra. And one of the activities that I did was CSR 1.0, corporate social responsibility. We gave around 6,000 bottles of water to tide over the flood responses. And what we did is that whatever we put in an emergency situation, we don't take care of it later. Work is done, we put photos, we claim success by achieving how we tided over the floods, but we literally asked for each and every member, citizens in Chiplun, which was flood affected, and carried back 27 tons of plastics back and converted into a polyfuel. So if there is a will, it is not just about giving, it is also about taking meaningfully and having a sustainable giving. Coming to the water hyacinth, which is a weed that kind of consumes all the oxygen and deprives the aquatic life. We actually took the last week to clear up with 300 plus volunteers 17 tons of hyacinth, out of which we could have probably 250 kgs of plastic. Would have been a real great effort to kind of move it out, because some of them are already flushed away from the water. So what we do literally by getting people argument on the ground is not a permanent fix. It is just to create people, what is the work involved, how do they empathize with the river. Once they do it by themselves, they know what to do next. That is the volunteer augmentation that we do, and this is no replacement to fixing the pollution. Collective social responsibility, as we call, is not about just one company doing. It is about citizens getting engaged into, which we call it as CSR 2.0. So what people do is, there is an NGO which I kind of occasionally volunteer for, where they adopt a stretch of river and say that I'm responsible for this 1 kilometer of river. Whatever comes in there on the banks, I will clear it off. And then on government or urban body sponsored drives, we do blogathons where we make it fun to collect these things and thereby create empathy and understand the problem. So about 98 main roads, this was not my program, but was an urban bodies program, which I would like to bring in, combining fitness with youth, with aged people to collect plastics. At the end of the day, whether it is a company doing or a community doing, everyone has a social responsibility, what I call as individual social responsibility. And there is no pointing in collecting something which is already into the river. We should prevent it from entering into the river, by which we associate with different NGOs here, where we tell what is the toxic product, what is the non-toxic product, and then we also demonstrate it wherever there is an occasion. So about 30% of the domestic waste comes from the chemicals that we feed into the river, and that can really be stopped right at the home if we move on to the non-toxic products. So one is by empathizing, one by collecting, by creating that empathy by doing, and also preventing by having a toxin-free lifestyle. At the end of the day, it is not all about us. It is all about also the product manufacturer stressing upon their product responsibilities, what we call it as an extended product responsibility. This is almost a yearly product. We say that we go into a stretch of the river, collect all the plastics, and then we distribute how much of it is a gum wrapper, how much is a product wrapper, and we show it back to the highly used products, and have the companies accountable for it also. At the end of the day, prevention is always better than cure. Do not discount the power of one, even more the power of being together, doing the things right and doing the right things. So what I would like to do is just play, in the interest of time, what we did over the weekend for Towards the Oceans. As you know, the river ends up into Bhima, into Krishna, and into the oceans. So let me know if you're able to hear the sound and see the video. Are you able to see and hear?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, let me go back. So what this occasion was basically around the Environment Day and Oceans Days program, we collected about 17 tons of hyacinth with 300 plus volunteers, close to about 5 hours in a period of 2 days. So everyone who came in was very clearly saying that, oh God, this is too much of work. How do we prevent? So we are on the path to do using individuals collectively and making people responsible for their lifestyle that affects the river. So in a nutshell, prevention is always better than cure, because we are a connected system. It is not just rivers flowing into sea flowing into the ocean, and then getting back in return. At the end of the day,
Satya, so much. That was a wonderful presentation. Absolutely brilliant work there. Of course, water hyacinths, like we do work on Powai Lake as well. And what you have experienced is agri waste, sort of, and it does land up in the landfills if it's not recycled. So that is fabulous, outline of your work there. Congratulations to all the partnerships. That's, I love that partnership and networking that you have garnered to prove that yes, there is the power of one, but you can also work in a network with others to take your mission forward. That is absolutely brilliant work there, and Dr. Chetna will outline the details. We're running very short of time, but I would love to invite our next speaker, Mr. Avinash Narayan Swamy.
Yeah, good evening.
He's assistant professor for the Center of Research and also an entrepreneur at the Green Law. I can't say enough. I'll leave it to him very quickly to outline his introduction, his experience with pollution and the oceans. Very quickly, few minutes. Yes, Avinash.
Yeah, thank you so much, LZ. Once again, a good evening to all panelists as well as the members. I'm actually a double postgraduate from the Netherlands. I did my master's in sustainable energy technology and environmental and energy management, and both were luckily on scholarships. So I decided to use that knowledge back in India, and I started off with these biodiesel, concept where from waste cooking oil, I'm making biodiesel, which is nothing new. And I've driven over 18 states in India, trying to highlight the importance of being energy self-sufficient, while at the same time caring for the environment, because biodiesel is a clean fuel, and also trying to bring about job opportunities for our locals. And coming to the topic of the Ocean Day today, all of us know that most of the trash in our country is either openly incinerated, or it's land dumped, or eventually it ends up in the ocean. So what I've been doing in the last few years is I make biodegradable cutlery. So I've been trying to, we make different sizes, of course. So like you see over here, and these are made from areca leaves. It's a tree that's found in abundance in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. And these leaves we are converting into plates, and have been in touch with quite a few, end users, such as small hotel and food joints, as well as these roadside charts, those who make bel puri, pani puri, and all these eateries. So I've been tying up with them and asking them to move away from the single-use plastic, because we know exactly what happens to them as far as in our country is concerned. So what we are doing is, we are, apart from the business, of course, the main thing that we are trying to drive across is to let people know the importance of using biodegradable alternatives, which are already available in our country. And most importantly, we are trying to connect with many other stakeholders to drive this point across. So recently we touched with just one customer, 100,000 plates that has been, purchased by this particular, end user for the last 5 or 6 months. And he's so happy with us that now he's spreading the word to others to move into using these biodegradable plates. The thing is, once you throw these plates into the environment, it's in fact a good feed for cows. There's a lot of research that is going on. Rather than, we know that all over the country and also elsewhere, most of this trash you find, or trash places, you find cows, feeding there, and most of the plastic gets ingested by these cows, and it's a really sad state of affairs. So we are trying to mitigate that as well, and we are also employing a local force. So this whole concept, we are trying to make it sustainable. Now, where we are different from other, areca plate manufacturers is the waste that we produce, because not all of the leaf is used to make the plate. The edges of the leaf gets wasted, and in most of the areca manufacturing places, they incinerate this. So what we are doing is, we are converting it into biocompost. I'm still in the initial phases, so we have already done quite a few trials. We are trying to understand the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium content in this composted areca, wasted areca leaf, and we are trying to see if we can actually supplement nurseries here in Bangalore, and try and complete the cycle, because what we believe strongly, like all the other speakers were emphasizing upon, is the circularity, and to try and see how best we can avoid sending the trash into landfills or eventually into the rivers and then into the ocean. As one of the speakers pointed out, we have a pretty long coastline with the Indian Ocean, and a lot of trash ends up over there. And prevention is better than cure. Rather than sending it to the ocean and then cleaning it up, you rather stop it here at the primitive stage itself. So we are trying to push this point across. We are a very small player in this market, and we would like to remain so, because we are not here to do business as such, but to get the point across to people that there are sustainable alternatives available, and it's for you to make a choice. And
thank you so much, Satya. It's absolutely brilliant. Two solutions that we take away from you is you literally brought to the table on the screen alternatives, very impactful, showing us the alternatives that you are giving. That's one. And your biodiesel project, I'm sure so many of us would be very, very interested in that as well. And I believe you will be going down to the Himalayas, right? On your plastic collection drive. So we wish you all the very best. More power to you. It is 8:30. We've been 1.5 hours here together with all of us here, and we're eagerly waiting. So without much further ado, I would like to thank all our Climate Reality Project leaders and our non-Climate Reality Project leaders as well, who showed so much enthusiasm and action, from motivating to delegating to inspiring to instructing, guiding, and also some of them being on the ground. And I'd like to invite Dr. Chetna. Good evening, Dr. Chetna. Are you here, please? She will elaborate to you. She has worked on the logistics and tabulations and been with me in this entire journey, even before the 1st of June. And she has brought this together. So very quickly, everyone is waiting for the Great Ocean Plastic Collection Race. And we have tried our level best. This is our first year of this race. Of course, we will fine tune as we go along next year and have more strategic outlines and, more time to launch this. But this is our first year. And we're looking at which state pan-India took the leadership of Climate Reality Project, which state is really taking leadership in this plastic collection. She will outline that to you. And she will also give you dual winners in the one with the most participations, with the ones with the most collection. So she will give you all the logistics. I can't thank you enough. Dr. Chetna, over to you.
Thank you very much, Elsie, and thank you to Climate Reality Project for providing me the opportunity to help you out in such a great initiative which you have started with. Without further taking much time, so I would like to present the snapshot. We had participation from around 7 states and 1 UT. And besides that, we had 13 climate reality leaders taking up the lead. So they had connected with different kinds of people from all different places, institutes, organizations, NGOs, students, and all kinds of people. Almost around more than 4,000 people were being connected for this drive for the first time. And the amount of waste which we have been able to collect through this campaign, it is more than 9,500 kgs. So with this snapshot, I would like to give you further details.
This is the ones that came in on the form. Of course, there is the ones which were on WhatsApp, and one was just, said tons, and also thousands of people involved. But whatever came in the form was tabulated.
Okay, so if we see state-wise, so Maharashtra is leading. The opportunity which Maharashtra got was because of the ocean, the drives at the beach. So because of 2 big beach drives, we had a lot of quantity of waste which has been collected, but there has been equal inputs from all different states. We can see this quantity is not important. What is important is that everybody participated. And if we see that per person contribution, this contribution is also very important and significant, because at certain places we will find that there is, for 50 people, there is 50 kg of waste which has been collected. But here a single person has collected around 3 kg. So quantitative wise, it is equal to that. So this is the quantity of plastic which has been collected, plastic waste, and it has been handed over to the recyclers. And if we see the drive,
we have 2 participants. also had Raj and Dev. We will tabulate that. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Orissa.
So it is basically based on the data which has been furnished by them through the Google Forms and through the WhatsApp. We will further refine it when we will be coming up with the report. So we will further do the refinement. But as of now, like the number of campaigns or drives, there have been multiple campaigns at different places in Maharashtra. There has been the frequency we can consider it is 4. At other places, it is 2 or 1. But it is not very important. What is important is participation. So now let us see the quantity which has been collected climate reality leader wise. The plastic quantity which has been collected, we can see there are all sorts of like there have been 2 drives, 1 drive, 1 single climate reality leader. They have got the collection done. So everybody has got a very good contribution out over here. And if we talk about the mobilization of people, so that's how we have tried to compile the results, so that it's not only important to have the quantity of the plastic waste, but it is equally important that if you are influencing a large group of people and they are being stimulated to participate, so in subsequent such kind of drives and initiatives, there will be more quantity of waste which can be collected. So if we talk about people wise, we can see through this graph that what is the contribution and the number of people who have been mobilized. Now, from these 2 graphs, it is very much evident that who might be the winners in both the categories, but let me tell you. So if we talk about the quantity of the plastic waste which has been collected, the highest quantity, it is 3,500 kgs of the plastic waste which has been collected through the drive. And the climate reality leader is Professor Nandini Deshmukh in Maharashtra. The second highest quantity, it is by Debabrata Rajkumar from Arunachal Pradesh. Although like he belongs to Assam, but in his Google form, he had mentioned that the place which he had selected, it was in this region. So we have tried to correlate it with that. So the second highest quantity, it is 1,766 kgs. And the third highest quantity of the plastic waste which has been collected is from Karnataka, Bengaluru, 1,500 kgs. So
big round of applause, absolutely brilliant. Dr. Chetna, that's brilliant. Yes. Of course, it is J. Singapore of Mumbai under the team leadership of Dr. Nandini Deshmukh. But
and 140
congratulations,
people were being mobilized by him, and he has conducted multiple drives at Prabhadevi, Dadar, Bandra, Juhu, and Versova beaches. As he has already presented, so and the pictures themselves, they talk a lot about it. The second quantity, like around 2 drives, had been conducted by Mr. Rajkumar, and it is 266 kgs engaging 150 people at one place, and the second place it is 1,500 kgs engaging 50 people. So this is a very large amount. And the second category of winners is we have based on the number of people who have been mobilized. So as we already had seen in the presentation by Seema Bali, that she has been successful. Yeah. So she has been successful in engaging not only the staff, the faculties, as well as the students of the school. And therefore, the number of people, some or the other way, these students have contributed. So it is 2,565 people who have been mobilized for this kind of plastic collection drive. The second one category in more number of people, it is 323 people engaged by Professor Dal. And the third one, which is very interesting, Neeta Ganguly ma'am, she has been successful in engaging 420 people for this short duration from 1st to 7th of June. So a few snapshots of what kind of collection drives have been conducted by Professor Dal. And this interesting part which I was talking about, this is butt rush.
So this
consists
Dr. Neeta.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So they have had a drive wherein they have collected the cigarette butts, and which are also a major plastic pollutant. And these cigarette butts, around 420 students were being engaged and 75 kgs of plastic butts have been collected. So it accounts to around more than 3,75,000 of cigarette butts, which we tried to calculate and bring it down. Yeah, equate to 75 kgs. Yeah.
Excellent.
Right. The other two categories, like what we can say is not in the quantity, not in terms of that, but institutional engagement wise. And the last presentation, which we have seen by Mr. Satya. So the kind of work which he has done for cleaning of the river and water hyacinth cleaning. So 17 tons of the waste has been removed from the river bodies. So that's a big amount. And the institutional...
And Dr. Chetna has mobilized over 15, 20 institutions, I think, all over Mumbai. And her humility, you know, really is admirable, and she will not talk about it. She's absolutely down to earth. And she mobilized right from the Runwal housing societies, housewives, as well as communities and colleges, in fact. And they came up with a beautiful submission of pictures as proof, documentations as proof, very scientifically presented, and how many participants, which housing society, and between 1st and 7th. That was very, very well organized. She has mobilized more than 15 to 20 organizations. It's fabulous there, Dr.
Because of the motivation of one person, if you are religiously following that, everybody joins your team and then everybody comes up. So it was basically motivation by LC. And now I would be regularly participating in such kind of activities. We have got two specific institutes, the Maritime Training Institutes, who have participated, one in Chennai and other one in Darja, who have done these kinds of drives. So I would like to conclude with this statement that, as we know that air is a big equalizer, whether you are rich or you're poor, you will be exposed to same quantity and quality of air which anybody else will. Similarly, oceans are great connectors. These are the things through which, like, even if we throw anything, it will come back to us. So and besides that, what we talk about is tree plantation for having oxygen. But many of us do not know that they contribute around, the oceans contribute around 50% of the oxygen because of which has been produced by phytoplanktons and other planktons. So it is also equally important. Besides, this is the natural sink which is provided to us, which is absorbing not only the temperature, but also the carbon dioxide pollutant. So whatever comes from the air, whatever pollution we are creating, it is first getting absorbed into the ocean. And therefore, we need to take care of the surrounding environment. It helps us in mitigating the global warming also. Not only we talk about the effect which is there, there will be social effect, the economical impacts will be there, and the impact on the health will be there. It affects us in all the possible ways, and therefore it's very important to be aware of this and to revitalize our efforts and revitalize our oceans in order to protect ourselves. So with this, I would like to conclude and thank you all for all your contribution, and thank you very much, Elsie.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chetna. And of course, a special invite, if we can have Nirith to talk about your cigarette butt project. And before he comes on and before we close, I would like to say that the winners will get t-shirts and recyclable drinking water bottles, as well as trophies and certificates for their first 3 winners, and special awards also to the ones with the largest amount of participation involved. So these are the winning trophies in place. So of course, Climate Reality Project and us, are under the process of making an app. And why we elaborated on this towards the end is, this is what is required to be documented very scientifically with precision, and that's what an app can do. Can really bring out the numbers, logistics, statistics, and strategies, and recycling, and where did you recycle it, and what came out of your recycled product is the winning game actually. So this is all a process of the app that we are building, and it will be out soon with Climate Reality Project. And I would like to thank everyone. And while some of us are still here, I would love to give anyone else an opportunity. You may raise your hands if you would like to speak. All our panelists were very, very, down to earth, real hard workers, and really walking the talk. It is not easy. And of course, this was our first initiative. If we give it a 2-3 months advance notice, there will be a more reaction. So there's so much power to learn from you. Of course, Neeta, thank you so much, for being all the way up in the hills. I would like to invite, Nirit, are you here?
Yeah, I think Nirit is here. Nirit,
yes, please go ahead, Nirit, because very exciting. We need to take this on big force, because cigarette butts, are so small and so lightweight, and these again dissolve into microplastics, which we are researching on. So this further breaks down into fiber, and he will tell you a story very quickly, Nirit. 2 minutes. Nirit, are you there? Please go ahead. Neeta, if you can invite Nirit, please. Priya, if you can ask Neeta ma'am to just invite Nirit.
Sure.
Neeta has really gone out of her way to, bring this absolutely unique recycling process, which is not easy. It is important that, we take up different, like doctor said about biofuel, and then there was agri waste as well as plastic waste. So many dimensions to waste collection and networking. And Dr. Chetna, when you were analyzing these logistics and, trying to get the strategic winner, do you have any other point that you'd very quickly like to bring to the table? Anyone else that you'd like to highlight?
There are multiple drives which have been conducted, and the only thing is that few of them have taken to MRF based on the local facility which is available. So we can have it more structured now, because we know that what we have to do, and we have to plan the logistics accordingly. Many a times, even if we are doing a good drive and we are not putting it to the right recycler, this may land up again in somewhere in the landfill or in the dumping yard. So we need to connect with people who are doing the right kind of processing. So this is what we can do. We can develop a sort of a local resource, like we can say that state-wise or area-wise, who are the recyclers. We can list it out, and then we can provide it for the next year, like whenever we are doing the event.
Excellent, Dr. Chetna. Dr. Chetna, do you recall there was 30 to 15 forms, but of course there was more than that. I think 20 at least contributed towards this, with thousands others participating pan-India. But any particular unique story of recycling? If they gave it to the Radiwala or a center which recycled it into a product?
Yeah, there were a couple of people who
Can you
have
share that,
provided. Exactly, yeah.
Do we have Nirit here as yet?
Nirit is not able to join, but meanwhile, I think Neeta Ganguly and Nandini Deshmukh can add a lot of value to this conversation. If Neeta, Nandini ma'am, if you want to please talk with us, and then Neeta Ganguly, please.
Neeta, I'd love to invite you. Nirit is not here. I'm sure he, he was really, really wonderful. Are you still up there on the hills? Please come forward, take it all yours. The stage is all yours.
Neeta ma'am is here.
Hello. Yes.
Hi. Hello. Good evening.
Yes, Neeta, please.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome. Oh, you're back home?
I've been following you. Nirit is also there. Nirit is just.
Yeah, I'm trying to call him. I'm trying to call him.
Actually, we were outside. We were only watching, so we didn't have the access.
Nirit, can you hear me?
Access.
Come on, though.
Yeah. Nirit, will you please switch on your mic, and if you can come in? He's also there. So anyway, as you were saying, yes, I was in the hills. I was in the high altitude of Sikkim, and I sent you some pictures. I found that place, state to be spotless. It's green, no plastics, and people are so conscious. And that's what we need to learn from this state, They were very conscious about what are they using, where the plastic goes, even beer bottles. They were all the glass bottles were piled up in one place so that it can be collected. It was fantastic to see that, this is something part of our own country, and this has to multiply everywhere. And Nirit, I don't know why he's not switching it on. So Nirit has been doing, yeah, Nirit is on. Nirit, can you just come in?
Hi, everyone. So you want me to explain the process of butt rush?
Yes, very quickly, please. Yes.
So what we basically do at butt rush is we make sure it's just not a 22, it's just not a 2-hour or 3-hour marathon. We make the participants walk on the streets for 24 hours straight to pick up cigarette butts from the street, because thanks to tobacco marketing and PR, people have failed to realize that the cigarette butt environmental pollution is as critical as plastic pollution across the world, something that has been hidden for years and decades across the world. So that is what we are trying to remove from India. And the biggest challenge that we are facing at the moment through butt rush, it has grown virally across India. We have been receiving a lot of support from different corners of the country. But not only the challenge we are facing is greenwashing from tobacco companies. The biggest challenge that we are facing is from all recyclers of India who recycle cigarette butts, but using fraud means, which it endangers the health of not only the environment, but the humans as well. That's all.
Thank you so much, Nirit. We will take on all the details from you. And thank you to your mentor, Anita, for sharing this. Of course, you have to be part of our journey as we make this app and we go into our next year planning for the Great Ocean Race from 12 months in advance. So please be with us, Nita, with all your guidance. And we invite Dr. Nandini Deshmukh. Are you there, please?
I'm there.
Yes, she was brilliant and she explained about Jay's work, which is absolutely awesome. Nandini ma'am, fantastic.
Yeah,
yes, please explain and take it over.
It's not my prize. It's not my prize. It's Jay's work, because I've seen the way Jay and his team, they keep on working on every day on the beach. I have personally witnessed how greatly these people work. And therefore, I am going to join my hands with him and go to all the Maharashtra coastline schools and colleges where I could teach more about marine biodiversity, because that has to be also looked about. And actually, a lot of work is being done on Turtle Festival and other things in Konkan Coast. So I want to join hands with that. And I would also teach people about sustainable living modes, especially for the fisherwomen. Because of the global warming and climate change, the worst affected communities, fishermen. And these were the original inhabitants of Mumbai. So we have to do something for the fisher folk also. So I will be joining hands with Jay on these particular things. Unfortunately,
thank you so much.
Right now, but I really thank you, Elsie, but this award actually goes to Jay, not me.
You tell me, I'll send the trophy to him and to you. You just tell me. Absolutely brilliant work there, ma'am. Your guidance.
Great work.
Blessings.
I would congratulate Satya for excellent work of removing the eutrophication. So that's great. Thank you, Elsie.
Thank you so much, Nandini ma'am. Yes. So, Dr. Chetna, we did have our first winner, Jay speak. And our second winner is Dev, I think, Devrata. Dev, are you here? Okay.
Actually, I'm also second, Nandini, and I'll say the trophy goes to Nirit and not me. I'll take the t-shirt.
Okay. And
it goes to Nirit. All the prizes goes to Nirit.
Yes, and we'd like to, Dr. Chetna, the third winner was Satya, right? Dr. Chetna, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so the third winner for the biggest collection was Dev. Can you come on the Zoom, please? You came second in case we like you to speak. So we did have Satya in the third place. Okay, he spoke it. And in the participation, first three were?
G. Nagraj was there. So he has also got good quantity. And Mr. Rajkumar, so he was second. And Mr. G. Nagraj was the third one. So any one of them is there and they want to present their idea about what work they have done, they can do that.
So if G. Nagraj is not there, I can speak on behalf of them because I asked him to nominate. He's from Karnataka and he's called as the flogman of, Bangalore or whatever you call it. So he arguments the same collective responsibility of individuals trying to mix fitness with plastic collection or garbage collection. So a team of like 150, 300 people odd go through the streets of Bangalore and actually collects whatever is possible within 1 hour run. And he had made it like almost like a regular feature that every weekend or when the time permits, he goes and walks around. He was the special guest for the Youth Sustainability Conference also. Now he not only collects the garbage, he goes to those houses through his set of volunteers and make sure people adopt eco-friendly practices, right? From menstrual cups, instead of disposing sanitary waste, can they move on to menstrual cups and so on. So I think I can boldly speak on behalf of him because I know him.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, we have many other speakers also wanting to share, but the second prize winner, Dev, are you there? Please very quickly share with the work that you did.
Kindly raise your hand in case we are not able to identify you, sir. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. Hi. Thank you so much, Elsie, for giving us this opportunity. So we started this Himalayan Green cleanup project in Arunachal. So we started in two places. One is like in collaboration with Northeast Waste Collective. We did it in Sangti Valley, where we have collected almost 266 kgs of waste, and we have created an impact in 50 volunteers. We have recruited there, like for cleanup drive, and we have segregated all the waste and kept it in our MRF there. Apart from that, we also did in East Siang in 4 villages there in Pasighat, where we have collected almost 1.5 tons of waste, plastic waste. Actually, we have collected 3 tons, but plastic waste is 1.5 tons. With the help of Green Gables and Green Spot team there with Liku Shah. So there we have impacted, we have almost 200 volunteers there. All the waste are kept in MRF. We are segregating the waste, and immediately after was it's segregated, we will send it to recyclers. That's it from my end. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much and congratulations. Of course, we did have Raj from Assam, and I believe Dev's amount and Raj's amount puts Assam in the second state leading, right? After Maharashtra.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, Dr. Chetna, we have Assam leading, in fact, with both our veteran. Raj, are you there?
Not Assam and Northeast, ma'am.
Raj, are you
not
there?
Assam or Northeast.
Northeast, right.
Northeast, yes, yes. Full Northeast, yes. Raj, are you there?
Raise your hand in case we are not able to identify
Please,
you.
yeah, because then we put you on. And Raj shared in the very beginning, motivating us, to take this further. And I was wondering if we'd get any response from all our leaders. So it was Raj who shared pictures from his very first collection. If you're there, Raj, please. Dr. Chetna, out of the 13 or 14 names that you have, everyone's given a chance to speak.
Yeah, mostly.
Anyone else from the 13 on your list who's not come up today to speak? Just read out the names, please, quickly. So we give everyone.
Tenzin Jayama.
Tenzin also collected, yes.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah, Tenzin should speak up. He is a great motivator.
Tenzin, are you with us? Please, if Ria, you can call him to speak. It will be lovely.
He is doing some great work out there in the Himalayas. Tenzin, please.
Tenzin, you need to unmute yourself.
Once more, Tenzin ji. That got muted again, please. Yeah.
In case he needs to unmute his, just guide him. Priya, if you can contact Raj Kukkar also, please, that he's been called to speak. If you can quickly WhatsApp or call him. It will be
Tenzing
nice
ji.
since
Sure.
we're
Tenzing
all
ji, please go ahead,
here, and since we are, 21 of us ultimately, but then we have time to spare.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, Tenzin.
Hi, Elsie. Hi, Bhavish, and everybody online. And I was very much looking forward to this, session, because I actually really wanted to hear the stories, and you all have really, beautiful and great stories behind your initiatives, and I actually learned a lot. Learning, following this conversation. So meanwhile, out here, while I was carrying this, my kind of, solar project, because the schools are here on holiday, so I felt like, I should be doing it. Especially on the Environment Day, and it felt good. So and I hope to continue, and as they say, we moving forward. It will be interesting to learn more about the recyclability of the the waste that people generate, because that's another very, very concerning thing. And another thing about alternatives, that would be another important thing which we can learn. So thank you so much to the organizer, Elsie, and Pavish. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
and
much.
Congratulations to all the winners.
That's fabulous. And we call over Avinash. Are you here? This is a call for Avinash.
We also have Ranjit Kumar.
Okay.
He is also there in the list of 13. So if he is there, he can.
Yeah,
also
please raise your hand, Ranjit ji, in case we are not able to identify you. And so I also want Susan to speak. Susan has been a great
yes. Oh, brilliant, Bhavish. Fabulous.
Yeah, Susan, if you are there, please. Susan, man, you are around. And Ketna ji, whom you were referring to?
Ranjit Kumar.
Okay, Ranjit ji, if you are around, yeah, please raise your hand in case you are in the audience. Sorry.
Susan ma'am is also there.
Okay, Susan ma'am, please unmute yourself and motivate us with the work you are doing. She's working with the younger kids and inspiring them a lot with the toddlers out there, so as to have a meaningful future for them and for us who haven't done much, I would say, in this drive. Susan ma'am, yeah, you are there.
If someone can reach out to Susan ma'am, please come on the Zoom and raise her hands.
She's here,
unmute her.
She's here, but she's not able to unmute herself.
Okay, the chat box.
Kalyani has also been doing
guide
some
her
great
on
work.
the chat box.
Kalyani,
Avinash is here.
you...
Avinash?
Avinash, I'm not able to see. Kalyani, you want to quickly add something to it? Fauzia, if you are around also.
Yes. And Swayam. Swayam is my teammate, literally a following her from Kolkata, Orissa, Bangalore, and Delhi. So every day we are, in touch with each other. But
Fauzia
she is traveling.
Yeah,
Fauzia, hi, Fauzia.
I am completely awe, of all the amazing things that different people are doing at respective locations. I'm sort of also embarrassed that, drives like this, I've really missed participating in it and would really look forward to being a part of it. Great work. I think, with 7,500 kilometers of coastline that we have, that's vulnerable to climate change, to also about public abuse, I would say. It has been vulnerable for quite, it is vulnerable. And, I would also really request all the ocean warriors who are here that we are seriously contemplating on blue economy. We have really ruined our mountains by commercializing there. And in the garb of protecting our oceans, we are seriously thinking of now moving into blue economy, while it can definitely improve the economic conditions of our, of our country. But we need to be very mindful of the damage also that we can cause. Excellent work. Congratulations to all the winners and everybody who participated today. More power to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Fawzia. Like we said, Bhavesh and us are with Climate Reality Project designing this app. So all the logistics, all the solutions, all the exact nitty-gritties of your collection and participants gets logged in. So we get precise scientific data, and right from the science of segregation to the tiny labeling of the pieces that you collected, 5 mm and less than 5 mm and more, microplastic and macroplastic. The whole science will go into this app by Climate Reality Project. For we will need all our veterans in waste management, like Fawzia and the rivers and water and lakes, everybody around, Nandini ma'am, everybody, Swayam, and all our leaders to come down into and give their inputs. And then that's how the app will be very successful in not just measuring a week before Ocean Day celebration on the birthday of our ocean, like we all have birthdays, I feel, but the entire 12 months, 365 days. So we keep updating this app, and at the end of our annual calculations, we'll be able to measure the impact. Measurement is very important, scientific data is very important for collection, and that can be done for our annual report. So this app is in the process of being made. This was in tandem with the making of the app. That's how we've formulated
Kalyani,
that.
it's okay to go with
Who else
audio.
is there?
Susan ma'am is unmuted.
Unfortunately, Rituraj sir won't be able to join today, but Susan ma'am has unmuted herself. So Susan ma'am, please go ahead.
Susan ma'am, then Kalyani, you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Congratulations to you, Elsie and Bhavesh, for such a lovely evening and a wonderful program. And so happy to hear these inspiring stories from all the different climate reality leaders. And of course, the cigarette butt ones is a real novel one. And of course, what Seema has done in the school, it's not easy during these school times to get the children involved in it, but the children will be the first change makers for us to take them into the families. So if a family has to change and to reduce that plastic waste, I think the children should be the first target. And as I said earlier, I think your ocean literacy program should weave into the Green School Campus program as well, which I, along with Seema also, and Rekha are a part of it. So we'll be happy to do that, especially when we do with the schools in the coastal areas. We should make that a part of it. And waste is something that we always tackle as one thread of that particular program. So it will be really, really nice if we could do that. Wonderful evening, wonderful. Didn't know the time passed by as we heard these excellent success stories that we had. And I'm sure next year will be a booming success. Congratulations once again. Congratulations to all of you, and especially Seema, who has a special place because I have mentored her, and it really gives me a lot of joy and gratification to see her do so well. Thank you once again to all of you.
Thank you so much, Susan. Congratulations to you for mentoring Seema and, coming out with flying colors. When I first spoke to Susan, Susan was wondering whether she'd have to be on the ground or delegate. And at the end of the whole hour that she communicated with me and gave me so much of hope, she shared at least 8 to 9 contacts and elaborated on each one's effort. And she said, Elsie, you can get resources from them and you can move forward. So she was very inspirational and very, very thankful to Susan ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If anyone else would like to speak, since we're a close tribe here with 21, calm down.
Kalyani ma'am.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Elsie. And
yes,
hi,
Kalyani ma'am.
Thank you so much for this great opportunity. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the winners, and you're all leaders. You inspired me a lot today. Though I am from the coastal city, I've been transformed myself on seeing the oceans. Today, I'm here in front of you with the great projects which I've initiated, but still a lot we have to do it. Still, we have to join together. So I've taken the initiative of, as Susan ma'am said, we have to take the hands of the children. So I've started my journey with the mindset of the children and parents. So today we have been spread all over the globe. Hundreds of teachers has been driven through me in the climate action and other projects. So I'm really going to do wonder in few months, and I definitely want to look forward for all your support and the curriculum designing, whatever we would like to come up. I'll contact Bhaveshi and Elsie ma'am, and please help me a lot. Thanks for the great support and for this opportunity to speak on this global platform. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Bhavish, do we have any more hands up or any questions you'd like to read out which are unique?
Yeah, Dr. Padma has been quite active and very motivating to us, along with Dr. Vidhi also. So very quickly, just for 1 minute, if you want to inspire us, ma'am, and Padma and Vidhi.
Hello, can you hear me? This is Dr.
Yes.
Vidhi.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so hi, I am based in Mumbai and I run my own organization, and we are aiming to educate people like not only students but people from any sector, like any background they come from, in the space of circular economy, because it is something that if various stakeholders need to get together and bring about the transition, it is not like a localized thing that can happen. So we are working in that sector. We are building up curriculum, how based on, like, if they are in the school, then how, what kind of teachings can be done at the school level, what kind of teaching can be done at the university level. Even career counseling can be done for students who wish to pursue circular jobs or get involved in this. And since there's a lot of innovation that is happening across the world, but it does not reach each and every one. Not everybody has access to all these kinds of different innovations that are happening, but it is very insightful for people to learn about it. So we are working in that sector. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bhavesh, any unique questions out there that have been coming up or anything?
Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out. In fact, there was a very interesting question which said that why do these kind of seminars or webinars, when we are working on the ground on a different aspect, how much difference do these webinars and seminars make? So probably someone from esteemed speakers or panelists can throw some light on why these things are important to speak up and have these things done in the first place.
I think this is a celebration of the ocean and highlighting, scientific details by all our experts about the ocean, and bringing it up to date with the data of 2022. It's been COVID months, and as you can see, there's a resurge, at least in my neighborhood and in Mumbai, there's a resurge of COVID. So though we all cannot come together at a particular place, like I was suggesting, Lakshadweep or Risar or anywhere physically, these webinars bring together diverse knowledge, just not one pillar or the second scientific pillar, but engagement, community networking, as well as inspiration. All these work at various levels in ocean pollution mitigation, in ocean conservation, and you get inspired through scientific details of their groundwork. What they've shared on you on the webinar today was their groundwork, videos, presentations of how they've literally picked up with how many people, how many tons, and how it's been recycled and the effort that goes into it. And I hope these webinars continue as an educational series to become productive. And like we said, this particular one was in tandem, the app in the making, and to celebrate the ocean. And like we said, that we want more youth to join oceanography and documentation, research on the oceans. And of course, I do not have to elaborate the importance of it, but right now the ocean needs our support in every which way. So that's why
a special thanks to Mr. Jay also, I think, because this political interference is needed for environment movement, and that needs to be done across the length and breadth of India. So thanks to Mr. Jay for incorporating in the mainstream. Unfortunately, within the political systems and scenarios, we are discussing other things, but this is something that needs even more importance. So there are good people who are making it mainstream, and I think it should be a movement across party lines. There should be political affinity bringing in together. So party X, party Y, I think this is a great initiative for people to join in.
Any other questions, Bhavesh?
Yeah, that's it. Questions were fine. Yeah.
All right. Anyone else, last caller, would like to share? Because 21 of us are not hungry for dinner. We're hungry for more motivation and knowledge and networking. So this is the last call out. We'll give one more chance to another speaker who wants to really speak, and then we will call it a night. Everyone's through. Anyone not got an opportunity to speak? Here's your chance. Anybody who's not got an opportunity to speak, please raise your hands. Please connect.
Someone from
chat.
the audience, if wants to speak, please raise your hands. We are not able to see.
Yeah, anyone who's not come on the platform before and not got a chance to speak.
Yeah, please, Bediji.
Yes.
Bediji, you may go, please. Go ahead. Adiv Bedi. Shashwat, you want to speak? Dr. Padma? Fine, I think either there are some connectivity issues or something is wrong out there.
Thank you so much, everybody. I mean, I wish you take this Oceans Day, just not one day, but throughout the year. I think if we have a monthly meet like this on the oceans and bring in our, work to the table, we can expand more aggressively on the subject of oceans and marine ecosystem, right from the back of my kitchen door to the nalas, to the riverlets, to the streams. All that is connected to the marine ecosystem right in our backyard. Then we expand internationally. So we can meet again. I hope and pray that I will go live at the UNOC 22 at Lisbon. And then I will, share with Bhavesh the details of how I can, relay from there itself at the end of this month. But if we can get together every month like this and bring our heads together, knowledge sharing is very, very important. So I'd leave it to Bhavesh. You are true leader in engagement and bringing us all together. And I leave you for the closing note, please. It's been a long, long, long night, and everyone has really, really contributed. So I will give it to Bhavesh to please give the closing note very quickly.
Thanks, Elsie. You have been acting as a catalyst. So our esteemed speakers, Aditya ji, Satya ji, Ketna ma'am, for doing all those things diligently out there. You have been an inspiration throughout. Prafulla has been working with the last man standing, the tribal women out there, empowering them through the thick and thin of it. Mr. Jay, we spoke about you, Susan ma'am, Fozia, Nandini ma'am. The list goes on. Why? Because the common thread of climate leadership, the common thread of doing something for the nature, something for the environment, which probably others are ignoring, but we could not. Satya, he has been celebrating birthdays at landfill sites with her daughter just to inculcate that very habit. Ki beta, something is wrong out there. We need to change it. We need to repair the things. Just imagine on a birthday at a landfill site. That's the kind of motivation we ought to have. We ought to inspire each other. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And a special thanks to all the attendees out there. Thank you. Thank you very much. And a special thanks to Ria also, who has been working at the background of it. But I think she has done a great job out there.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Climate Reality. A very good night. And thank you, everyone, for your precious time. Till next month. Good night and goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.